Hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning. Hope you guys can see me, hear me, as well as see the presentation. Do let me know in the comments, the chat section, if you can see me. Everything is good from my side so that I can start in a minute or two. Let me check. Hi, it will be great if you guys can just confirm if you guys can see me, hear me, as well as see the presentation. Everything is good from my side so that I can start the session in a minute or two. Great. Thanks a lot, Dipanshi Krishna. So it will also be great if you guys can just drop one liner about what you're planning to do, masters or PhD in US, Canada, UK, Australia, anything, so that I know the audience that we have in the session, and I'll try to talk about a little bit of specific things based on the diversity of the people that I have. Right. Just to know the audience that I have, just it'll be good if you can just drop one line, like you want to do masters in computers, mechanical engineering in US, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, so that I know the people that we have here. Based in UK, MS in USA. Great. Master in Germany, Master in Computer Engineering, Aman. Okay. Okay. Master degree from Germany. Public Health Masters, Dipanshi from Germany. Okay. Great. Great. Good. So, I want to do PhD in Germany, Master in Chemical Engineering. Pranit, Masters in Chemical, Pooja, PhD in Germany. Great. So, we have few PhD candidates here, and most of them are looking at Masters. I'm looking at Germany, US. Could see one UK and one Canada as well. Okay. Great. So I'll try to make this session a bit useful for everyone, but I'll tell you beyond a point. I think some of you, if you're not clear, it's okay to sit, but rather some of you do not need to take GRE. So I'll tell you how to figure out whether you need to take GRE or not. That's an important part I'll talk in the session. So before that I get into the session, let me introduce myself. So my name is Jaydeep. I am one of the founders of this company, GT Cube. So a brief intro about myself. So I've done my engineering from Bitspilani, MBA from IIM. I worked as a management consultant for a couple of years. Then I quit my job to start this company with my batchmates at IIM, who are also passionate about education space. So we have been teaching in various B schools as visiting faculty, as well as we have been helping students with exams like CAT, GRE, GMAT, and we ourselves have cracked the exams CAT, GRE, GMAT with a great scores. So that's about us. What exactly are we going to discuss in today's session, right? Let me talk about this. Number one, should you take GRE? So I would definitely want to talk about this a bit deeper because I see a lot of students getting confused and not taking the right choice. So I'll try to clarify this. There is no fixed final answer that I'll give you, but rather I'll give you a framework, a structure to figure out the answer for yourself, and I'll give you a rule of thumb that helps you get a sense. Next, once you know that yes, GRE exam is something that I need to take, it's going to help me in my next goal that I've set up to do higher studies. Then comes what is the pattern of the exam, what is the scoring system, and how should I prepare for it. And that's a basic resources that are there. How should I work on my vocabulary, verbal, quant, and all. We're going to discuss on that. Then I'll keep the session open for your Q&A round. So if you have any questions, could be on the admissions, applications, universities, GRE preparation, IELTS, TOEFL, and all. So I can definitely talk if I have anything to add in terms of insights and value. So the entire session will run around 40 to 45 minutes. That's what I'll try to keep it to. Too much of session will also be too boring, right? I'll try to keep it there, and I'll keep the session open for you guys to ask me questions if you have anything, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Right. So let's start the session. So why should a student take GRE? Right? A very basic question. Like GRE, we're talking about the session, all of that great, but why? Why should I take it? Because the simple answer is that universities ask for it. They put it in their requirements. You need to submit a score. Then only then they will take it. But I should also warn you that GRE is not a requirement for every university in this world. So some universities ask for it, some universities don't ask for it. So whether I should take it, whether should I skip it, all of that. So how do I know it? So I'll tell you a basic rule. Uh, this is for the countries. Okay. Before I get into that, let me talk about this. So okay, let me first get this, then I'll get through the other one. So this is a rule of thumb that I'm going to talk about, but you have to go a little bit deeper for your specialization, for your set of universities, whether you need to take or not. But on a very generic level, a broad level, what I'm trying to say is for USA, if your goal is to do your masters or PhD in USA, GRE is a requirement. I would say it's a must. In the COVID situation, there are 20 to 25% of universities which are waived of GRE. It's a special thing this year, but I don't expect this to happen again next year from 2022 and all. But even then, you'll always find 5 to 10% of universities which will waive off GRE, normal times, okay? But trust me, these are not so great universities. You will hardly find good universities that can help you in your career which take you without GRE score. For most of the programs, there are few programs where GRE is not requirement. That's a different story. Level, if you're a good student trying to do your best for your career and growth, I would strongly recommend GRE is a very important exam you need to attempt if you're looking at USA. That's a way to prove your ability, your analytical ability, your skill set, right? So don't miss this opportunity to boost your profile and get scholarships and better admits and all with a good GRE score. Then another mandate scholarships and better admits and all with a good GRE score. Then another mandatory thing is proving your English skill sets called English language proficiency, IELTS, TOEFL and all, and you need to definitely take it. This is a must for all the countries. Doesn't matter which country you're talking about, but for US, TOEFL or IELTS would do a good job. Either of be fine. It's not one of this, you should take both. It's and GRE and English test is something that you should do for US. For UK, it's not required. I have not seen many universities asking for it, except very limited universities like Cambridge, Oxford, for certain programs there too. So you have to go deeper to the top-notch universities. By chance you're looking at them, then you should definitely look at the admission requirements and understand and see it. Otherwise, most of the universities do not ask for GRE, but they would ask for your English proficiency, and IELTS is the test that you should take if you're looking at proficiency, and IELTS is the test UK. If you're looking at Australia, then definitely again it's not a requirement. I have hardly seen even the top universities in Australia asking for GRE, so pretty much not a requirement. You should take either IELTS to prove your English skill, or PT is also another exam, Pearson test of English, another good exam that you can look at to prove your English proficiency skills. These are all options, one of them to be written. Canada, again, not a big requirement, but the recent times I'm starting to see some top universities like the Toronto University, University of Toronto, McGill University, British Columbia University. Few of them, for a couple of courses, I've started to see them asking as a GRE as a requirement. Again, I'm putting you top universities are only asking for it, so you can pretty much look at them and see if that's what you're looking at, and you're very clear about it, then you should take. Otherwise, you can avoid it. But again, you should take your English test, prove that, get a good score in this, and try to boost that. Then comes Germany. I would say you should take it. Okay, 1 second. Guys, can you see me? Okay, there was some issue. Can you just confirm if things are good from my side? Can you see me? Can you hear me? I don't know what happened. Suddenly there was a glitch and it just went off. Can you guys hear me now again? Okay, sorry for that. I don't know what happened, but wait. So I don't know where we lost, but I was telling you for Germany. Thanks. For Germany, I would say it's a very good thing to take GRE. It's not mandatory for all the universities, I will put it, but I'll tell you why do people go for Germany. There are two reasons. Either Germany is a hub for automobile, so a lot of people want to go for automobile courses. That's a great space to go and do. Otherwise, you'll go for public universities charging you low fee or zero fee. That's a major reason why there's a good amount of movement towards that direction. It's worth it also. The opportunities are good. You just have to learn language. That's a different story, but the fees for public universities is almost zero, 1,000 euros per semester, which is very less compared to any other country. The cost of education can be brought down to 15 lakhs, 10 lakhs. So that's why people go, but that is only public universities. And to get to public universities, good public universities and all public universities ask for GRE, either as a mandatory or they put it as a requirement that they will look at your profile. So it does boost your profile. If you are serious, my strong recommendation, right? Recommended. It's not mandatory for some, but I would say if you are serious, it's best to do and get a good score, 310, 35, 315 to boost your profile. Higher the score, better it is obviously. So do take GRE if you're looking at Germany for public universities. Then ELP, again you need to take IELTS or TOEFL. IELTS is most accepted in that again. For Europe, again depends. You're looking at ETH, Zurich, or you're looking at the Netherlands universities, Denmark, DTU and all. So then you have to definitely take GRE. It depends on the university requirements. So again, not a very much as a requirement, but you have to look, and top universities do ask, but otherwise again prove your English proficiency and you'll do good. So my saying is, if you are looking at these two, one of these two countries as a choice, you should definitely take it. Otherwise most of them might not need it unless you are looking at certain programs and the university is asking it. So how do I know if my programs and universities are asking it? So I'll tell you. Let me just show that briefly. So just as a preliminary research I'm talking about, you can go ahead and basically do this. There's something called QS rankings. So it's a website that gives you rankings for universities across the world. You can go to the rankings and do by subject, rankings by subject. So whatever you're doing, archaeology, architecture, you're looking at engineering, chemical, computers, look at, right? Let's say I'm trying to do mechanical engineering, my master's, right? You click on that, you'll be getting the universities ranked across the world from top, top 100, top 200, top 300. You'll be getting the universities. So this is a good way to start off with. Not saying this is the only thing you should look at, but for initial research I'm talking about. So like you had, let's say I'm trying to go for a country like Germany, or I want to go only to Canada. So you can just search and figure out, okay, Canada I'm looking at. So these are the universities that are there, which are good universities. So try to see, these are the top universities: McGill, University of Toronto. Then you have decent universities: Queen's, Yale, University of Toronto. So I don't know what's happening here, but there's some issues with the connectivity, I guess. So if we did restart, we can. So the stream has been restarted. I hope you guys can see me and hear me again. I don't know what exactly is happening today. It went fine. We just did a session earlier, but I don't know what's happening now. Can you guys hear me and see me? Okay. Sorry, this is beyond my control as well. So just going off for some reason, which is something not in my hands. So just losing the audience as well. So let me just wait for a minute. I'll just continue with it. So what I was trying to talk about is this. I don't know where we lost. But I was talking about the universities you can select, whatever the specialization you're looking at and the country you're looking at. Let's say I'm looking at Germany. So you can do that. Then you go further, do Google search and see each university's admission requirements, right? So I'll show you a screenshots of that. Like we did check out, like for example, this one is Harvard University's checklist. So you'll clearly see everything as applicant checklist as the admission requirements. These are the words that you will see for the programs, and you can read and understand what is the expectations of the universities. And clearly you will see you need to apply with an application, SOP, resume, letters of recommendation, transcripts. This is the space where they write GRE. I need the official GRE revised general test. So GRE general test is the one where you check the math and the verbal part. And then GRE also something called subject test, which is on maths, physics, chemistry, biology, literature, and philosophy, psychology. But that's not really required. So not required. So a lot of people don't take it unless you're looking at PhD in specific science streams. There, some universities do ask for it, but on a generic level, people only ask for general test, which is testing your basic math and the verbal part. That is required. And then official TOEFL or the IELTS score. That's what they're talking about. Let me show you another university. This is Stanford University. So again, you will see statement of purpose, recommendation letters, resume, transcripts, your marks, then GRE. All applicants are required to take GRE general test. 5 years. The validity is for 5 years. Okay, the general test of GRE is valid for 5 years. So they're asking the deadline within 5 years. If you write it, we are happy with it. So let's say if you take it in 2021, you can apply till 2026. Like if you join before 2026, that should be fine. So that's the validity that you get for that. And then they talk about the TOEFL or IELTS as the expected English test that you need to take. Then this is for German university, Aachen RUTH. So if you're looking for Germany, I'll tell you, you can go to this website called DAAD.de. So this DAAD is the German Education Council. So DAAD.de. Then you can go to international programs and international students, and then you can find some of the universities and their programs which are provided in English language for international students, and you find the requirements for each university. They clearly say this is for one of the top university, Aachen University in Germany. So this is for civil engineering masters that I've picked a screenshot. So you will see that we would need GRE as a requirement. If you look at München University and Mechanical Automobile Engineering, they will also ask GATE. For Indian students, they are also willing to look at GATE plus GRE. This is to prove your technical ability, and this is to prove your analytical ability. So some universities are getting to that level. It all depends on the competition and the program that you're looking at. But most of them are asking for GRE knowledge. This is not really that frequently asked, but top couple of programs I've seen in Germany also. Then Germany is not a requirement. You can learn it later also, but as long as you're good with your English, that's what they're worried about. So you need to prove your language by clearing this exam, right? TOEFL or IELTS with minimum. This doesn't mean if you get 90, you are given an admit. It's a minimum thing. If you have less than that, you're not admitted, even if you have everything else the best possible way. You should have at least 5.5. Doesn't mean I get 6 and I am into this university. Please don't understand that way. It's a minimum. After that, if you have less than that, you are out of the discussion. They won't even look at your profile. Right, so that's what I'm trying to show, that Germany also you need to take GRE. Top universities, public universities are all asking for it. If you're serious, it's worth taking it. So you can do the research for the universities you're looking at this like this. For the program or the masters, you're looking at a PhD, and then you'll understand. If you are not clear, you can always reach out to the website, the university email, and try to ask them, and they will clarify it. If by chance you couldn't understand it, they will be very responsive. Not just this, any university's admissions team will be very responsive. You can simply just drop a mail to confirm if you're confused with any of the requirements that they've given. So that's a basic research you should do to understand whether you should take GRE or not for your masters or PhD for the countries that you're looking at. For MBA, if you're looking at MBA, I'll tell you GRE is getting a wider acceptance, but if you're looking purely MBA, that is WorkX based MBA that I'm talking about, that's what MBA is basically, people with 2-3 years of experience. GMAT is the exam that you need to take. That is the most widely accepted across the world and still the undisputed leader. GRE is growing, but I would not recommend it. If you are looking at both kind of masters in computers or engineering plus MBA as options, then one exam that can solve is GRE. But if you're purely looking only at MBA, you're very sure about it, it's worth putting your effort on taking the exam GMAT. That's the thing I want to drive. So why are universities interested in GRE scores, right? A simple logic. You have a student applying from China, you have a student applying for India, you have a student applying from Egypt for a American university. The CGPAs are different, the universities are different. How would I compare a 8 out of 10? How would I compare a 5 out of 6? Like different grades, different universities, even within India, someone from an IIT, someone from college A, college B, how good is this, how bad is it, how can I judge it? That is where they felt GR is an exam which can give them a quantified score to compare all the applicants, the same unified exam, so I can compare anyone applying from anywhere if they've written GRE and have submitted their scores. But GRE is just one of the parameters. That's another important point I want you to understand. Just because you get 340 out of 340 in GRE doesn't mean you get admitted into any university you want. No, not really. Harvard University, Stanford, anyone, right? The average GRE score for Harvard University for computer program would be around 320, right? Close to 320, 323 or something, if I'm not wrong. So half of the students have scored less than that have still made it to Harvard top program, one of the top programs. How did this happen? Because they have something else in their profile. What are those? Academics, right? Good CGPA, good college background, coming from IITs, BITS, NITs to a good state level college to a tier 2, tier 3 college, it differs. Backlogs, right? Having no backlogs means you are a good student and hardworking. If you have too many backlogs, definitely it means you not done things well in your college and all. So 1-2 backlogs are not a problem, but as you have more and more backlogs, it will be starting to affect you in the negative way. Not that you will be completely out of the admission process, but you have to have something else where you cover and make it good. Nothing is like absolute that if you have this, you're out of it. But if you have something bad, you should have something so good that you're still taken into the university. Then comes your experience. When I say experience, I'm talking about work experience. If you have worked, we're talking about projects, internships, research projects that you have done. Then also research background. Like if you have published any papers, it adds a lot of value. Done projects, you've done some internship, something where you've published some papers with your professors, your guides, your mentors. That's a great achievement that you have. In college you've done some IEEE publication or something. Few people have it, but it's a great achievement to have, and they would really value that a lot. Work experience should also be relevant. Let's say you have done your work experience in a software development job, and then you're applying for mechanical engineering masters. Obviously, it doesn't add a lot of value. So relevant work experience would help. Working in a Google, Microsoft versus a ABC company, then definitely again there's a value given to the better company, right? Actually, I'm talking about masters in engineering management program. Is that what you're talking about, MEM? Then comes after you got about experience, then the next one will be talking about exam scores, right? Like your GRE, IELTS, and TOEFL score. This also matters a lot. So if you have same profile, everything else is same, having a 300 in GRE versus 310 in GRE versus 320, the type of universities you can get in, the scholarships you can get in will differ a lot. So you have to understand and keep that in mind, that higher the GRE and higher the IELTS TOEFL score, better it is for me to get into a better university. As I said, just because you got a higher score, you won't get it. Doesn't mean GRE and IELTS scores do not have impact. They have positive impact only. They have a better chances. But just because you have everything, it's not like all India rank 1 or you are the topper, so you'll get whatever you want. That's not how it works. That's what I'm telling you. But it is going to help you to get into a better university if you have a better score. Then finally, I'll also talk about your SOPs and LORs, right? The statement of purpose. What is the purpose you are trying to get into university, this particular program, and all of that? What is exciting you? And who is recommending you? Letter of recommendations is someone is writing a recommendation letter for you, that this student is a very good student. I've seen him or her done a project with me. They have good skill set. They're skillful in this. They're hardworking. This, that, and all. So it's not about what you write in the letter. It's just part of it, but also who is recommending you. The person, how famous or how powerful, or rather how good he or she is. It's also dependent on the number of publications they have, how much reputation they have in the worldwide universities and all. So that also matters in terms of LORs. So ultimately all of these things, right? And also overall, sometimes it could be from the country you're applying from. There are a lot many other factors which you cannot change, but these are things that you can change. Try to have a good CGPA, no backlogs if you still have something to do. Try to build experience relevant. Try to work on some research projects, research papers, build some research experience. Especially if you're going for PhD, then there's no discussion even talking about it. This is going to matter a lot. You have publications, have you done seminars, have you gone through this, have you done any citations, have you been cited? All of these things will matter a lot, right? Whom have you worked with, letter of recommendations and all. These do matter definitely, but this is much more weighted because you're talking about research as your lifetime goal if you're applying for PhD. If you're talking about masters, it's fine. You have a good CGPA, good exam scores. This is relatively low. You still can get into a better university. So these are things that would decide your overall chances. If you're still more interested to understand, we do have webinars in our YouTube channel. You can check out where we have talked about study in US, study abroad videos and all, where we have talked in depth about each country, the cycles, the admission process, and the requirements and the expectations in the profile evaluation. Right, so let's move ahead. So once you have decided whether you need to take GRE or not, right? Till now I've been talking about the exam, whether you should take it, what are the requirements, how are the things looked upon when a student applies to university and all. Now comes the section of, okay, I need to take GRE. So what is this exam about? So GRE exam is about 2 essays, 40 math questions and 40 English questions. That's what are going to decide your marks finally. The additional 20 questions called unscored research section, it could be math or English, we don't know which section you will get. There will be 20 additional questions which have zero value, but you won't know them. So they will be put up somewhere in between, so you never can guess which one is that. So ultimately you will be writing 2 essays, 40 plus additional 20 useless, so 100 questions, but 20 are useless. So technically you're only attempting 80 scoring questions and 2 essays, but understand the whole exam takes you around 3 hours 45 minutes, which is a long duration. I keep repeatedly telling students that try to practice mocks before you go, because it's not easy for a brain to sit through 4 hours, concentrate to its best potential and do well. Students start off well and then they taper off, they go down because their concentration levels drop off, they get bored, they get vexed, and they really struggle to score well despite their skills being very good. They practice the questions well, they do well in the classes and all, but once I see them in the exam, they falter. The reason they'll tell you, sir, I couldn't concentrate. That's why I keep stressing students to take at least 3 to 4 mocks. I'll talk about that a bit later, but just giving the tip because we got a discussion here. So what is this essay is about, right? 2 essays called analyze an issue, analyze an argument. Analyze an issue is a simple one-liner that you will be getting. They'll give you some topic. You just have to go ahead and talk about that. Argument is where they'll give you a small paragraph where they'll also put their own argument. They'll put assumptions, they'll put, they'll put some arguments and all. You have to say the conclusion is given with some argument. I believe A, B, C are the reasons for a particular conclusion. So now you need to attack why these are wrong, these are right, you're agreeing, you're disagreeing, all of that. You need to escape. But here they won't give any suggestions or arguments. They just put one line, that's it. You have to write an essay on it. So you have to build your own arguments here. Then you get into the math section, quantitative reasoning. I'll tell you this is up to a 10th grade, okay? Doesn't matter what background you come from a science background, non-math background, you're into biological sciences and all. Still the level you see is a proper school level math and they're very, very easy. But they're very conceptual testing, right? If you understand the basics well, you should be easily doing the questions well in this. Arithmetic, what you see is numbers, percentages, profit and loss, time, speed and distance, word problems, ages. These are all very easier ones which we have done in the school. Algebra also you'll be looking linear equations, quadratic equations, functions, right? Basic inequalities and all. I'm not saying a student who is not very good with math should do all the questions in the exam, but even if you do half the questions, you are at a very, very good score. So you don't have to worry about solving all. That's not the goal for everyone. Everyone has a different goal. So a student who is applying for a science or psychology course can have a very good admit with 290, was the engineer should have 305, 310 to get similar sort of an admit, because the exam is different for two of them, right? They're putting the same math and English, which is not easy for everyone. So then geometry, you talk about the triangles, quadrilaterals, circles, 3D geometry. Data, you talk about the bar graph, line graph. Probability, permutations and combinations. Statistics is something that I will put as a slightly advanced topic, which some of you might have not done. Normal distribution, box plot. Even if you remove them, even if you don't learn them, you'll still be able to solve most of the questions and you will not miss out much questions if you understand the concepts well. Right, so these are very simple topics. I'll show you with a very simple question to prove that GRE math is not very hard actually. So you have single correct answers, multiple correct answer questions, you have numeric entry, fill in the blanks. Then you have something called quantitative comparisons. I'll talk about what I mean by that type. It's a unique one in GRE. So they'll give you some information. Then they ask you to compare these quantities. Compare quantity A and B. That's why they're called quantitative comparison. A is greater than B. B is greater. Both of them are equal, or I cannot determine the relationship. These are the four options you will see. So they are asking what is the greatest prime factor of 288. It is simple prime factorization which you would have done in 6th or 5th grade, not even 6th, actually much more than that earlier. Just prime factorization 2 into 144, 2 into 70. I'm just trying to get the factors in prime numbers, that's it. So what are the prime factors of 288? 2 and 3. These are the only two prime factors of 288. And what is the greatest of them? 3 is the one, which is basically x. So x is nothing but 3. Similarly, for 192 also, I need to find the greatest prime factor, which is equal to y. 2 into 96, 2 into 48, 2 into 24, 2 into 12, 2 into 6, 2 into 3. So again, 2 and 3 are the prime factors here. So greatest of them is 3. So y is also 3. Both of them are equal to 3. That's why option C is the answer. Quantities are equal. So this is a very simple actual GRE level question. Easy to medium only, not harder one. Definitely on the easier side. But even if you do questions of this level, you will be easily getting 10 12 questions of this type in the entire section, 40 20 questions of that type. You can easily score 150 and all of that. So it's really not a hard exam. It's not a big formulas. You don't have to do complicated calculations. You don't have to be quick in math. You just have to understand some basics, practice, and you'll do very good in the GRE math section. Then the verbal section is a mix of two things. One is your reading skills. Second is your vocabulary. So how well can you read and understand is number one, and how well you know the meanings of the words is the second thing, right? So they will be checking this in these two type of questions. 50% of the exam is that, another 50% is reading. Can this person read and understand the complex text is what they check. Can this person read and understand the meanings, or fill in the blanks is what they'll be asking in both, but ideally you should know the words to answer them and understand the sentence also. So there are multiple correct answers, single correct answers, and something unique, you need to select the answer in the passage itself. So you have to select lines, which line will answer the given question. So you can select the entire line of the passage. So how does the scoring system work, right? So you will get a score like this. A student might get 310 in GRE and 5 in AVA. So that's how the scoring works. They give two separate scores. AVA is your essays. So they give a separate score for AVA. It will be from 0 to 6. It's a band of half. Like you can get 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, etc. So let's say a student got 4.5. I'll tell you, anything more than 3, you are good. You don't have to worry about getting a 5, 5, 4.5. Anything about 3, you're good. And if you're preparing for any exams like IELTS, TOEFL, if you have basic English skills well, you'll be easily getting it. You don't have to break your head and practice a lot for this part, because AVA is not really looked upon a lot unless you're applying for literature programs. Your goal is to get into English literature courses where your writing skills matter a lot, then they definitely value that. But otherwise, you can actually leave it as a basic thing and make sure you don't get very less score. That's it. Then comes your math. You see the lowest score a person can get is 130 and highest score is 170. That is, if I walk into the exam, I don't attempt any question, right? 0 attempts. And there's no negative marking in GRE, by the way. Let's say I still did not mark anything, or I got everything wrong. I got everything wrong in verbal also. I get 130, 130. So my overall score will be 260. If I get everything correct in quant and verbal, I'll get 170, 170. My overall score is 340. So the minimum is 260, the maximum is 340. That is the range. So students will always score between 260 to 340 only. Nothing more than that, nothing less than this. So that's absolute zero is not there. It's a relative zero of 260 is the benchmark of it. So you can see the difference is 40 points, 130 to 170. 170 minus 130 is 40. And as I said, in math, you have 40 questions. So that does mean each question is 1 mark. And so if I get 20 correct, I'll get 130 plus 20, 150. If I get 30 correct, I'll get 160 and all. Not exactly the correct one, but partially fine. I'll complete the story with the next slide. But just keep in mind that number of questions you get correct will determine how much you will get between 130 to 170. And adding both will give your overall score. Let's say someone scored 115 quant and 116 verbal. His overall score is 310 and our score is 4.5. That's how you will get your score code. So how does this work? Actual scoring. GR is an adaptive exam. Okay, it's an adaptive at a sectional level. What do I mean by that? First section on that particular day, for everyone the same questions will come and the difficulties of medium level. So they will determine the difficulty on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is easiest and 5 is hardest. Okay, let's say it will be like 4 easy questions, 12 medium questions and 4 hard questions. 20 questions in the first section. It's the same for all the students. Let's say there are 3 students who are writing the exam on a particular day, particular slot. They will get the same medium level for quant first section, same questions in the first section. Student 1 scored 15 out of 20 correct. Okay, he got 15 out of 20 correct. Automatically GRE adapts, changes, thinking that this student seems to be very good with quant. Let's challenge him with a hard section. So you will be getting 12 hard questions, 4 easy and 4 medium, like that approximately. I'm just giving a vague understanding. So this isn't a disadvantage because I'm getting into harder section, but I'll tell you, you'll get a bonus for joining here. If you get to hard section, the GRE will give you additional bonus in your score. So what happens, let's say somehow you only got 5 out of 20 correct because it's a hard section, you couldn't do well, and you got, our student 1 got 20 out of 40 on the whole. Let's say there's a student 2 who did fine in the first section, he got 10 out of 20 correct. He'll be getting again a medium level, same difficulty combination, 4 easy, 12 medium, 4 hard. Again, let's say he got 10 out of 20 correct, he's also getting 20 out of 40 correct. Third type of a student who got only 5 correct in the first section of quant. So the computer thinks that, okay, this guy seems to be poor in it. Let me make it easy for him and I'll give a easier section. 12 easy, 4 hard and 4 medium questions. So 20 questions. Let's say somehow it doesn't happen this way, but I'm telling you, let's say he got 15 out of 20 correct. So that means he also scored 20 out of 40. Will all 3 of them get same score? No. 130 is the base score. He got 20 correct, yes, but he'll also get a 2 to 4 points as a bonus. So that's why you'll be getting 152 to 154 in this. What about this? 130 as a base score plus 20 as a bonus plus partial bonus. Okay, very small bonus is given here, like maybe not also, like 0 to 2 if you get to medium. So 152 is what we generally get. If you go here, you'll get a penalty. The students will be penalized because they went to easier section. So they get 130 base score plus 20 as a final, but they'll be getting a minus of 2 to 4 points. So they will be finally landing up at 146 to 148. So same number of questions being correct for all 3 students, but you see the scores are varying a lot at the range of 146 to 154. That's because of how hard or how easy you've generated the second section. So GRE is adapting. It is changing as per your performance. So let me show a sample. So this is a sample ETS mock test data. So it's a representative of actual exam. So as I said, the difficulty levels are given at a 3 is medium, 4 is hard. You see 1 hard, 2 hard questions, 3 and 4 hard questions, and you have 1, 2 are easier ones. So there are few easier. Everything else is 3 medium difficulty. And how many did the student get right? I see 1 wrong, 2 wrongs, 3 wrongs. He got 17 out of 20 correct. So that means automatically he should be getting a hard section. And see the difficulty, hard, right? So they're all hard ones. 4, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5. So hardly you find 2, 3, couple of easy medium, one medium and few easy medium. So hardly you have 6 questions or something which are easy medium, the rest all are hard ones. And how many did he get right? 1 wrong, 2 wrong, everything else right? He got 18 out of 20. So though he got hard section, he did pretty good in this. Totally he should be getting a bonus of let's say 2 to 3 points. So he should be more closer to 167, 168, something like that. Not 169, 170, but as you get closer to 170, it's hard to get. But I think 166, 167 is a fair replication of what his score should be for this performance. Right, so that's why it adapts. So if you do well, you are expected to do harder ones also, understand that, but it's part of the game, you cannot escape it. So does that mean I should always try to get easier? Definitely no. Never even think in this. I'll tell you, at least try to get the medium. At least get 7, 8 correct. I'll show you this one. So at least get 7, 8 correct in the first section so that you get a medium level again in the second one, so that you get slight bonus or no penalty basically. That's a basic suggestion that I'll give. Don't try to escape, but rather try to get it. And if you get 17, 18 correct, you'll be getting 165, 166, etc. in this. And almost everything correct will give you closer to 170 score. Verbal also works the same way. There's not much of a difference in this. Same first medium, then you get hard, medium, easy depending on the overall score. But verbal, I'll tell you, is relatively hard to score for people. So for that reason, if you get even 15, 16 correct in the each section, you'll get 165 plus. I said to get 17 plus in quant. Even if you get 15, 15, you might get 165 in verbal. That's because of verbal being hard to score. So that's how it works. At least get 7 correct in the first section. So again, you get a medium level. Get another 7, you'll land up at 145, 146, etc. in the verbal section. That's a bare minimum I would ask students to look at. So we do have a couple of courses. I'll just spend a minute before I continue to the preparation resources part. So what I'm going to talk about, we do offer a couple of courses called Selfpaced, which is for people who are doing their own self-preparation. So we have prepared all the conceptual videos, more than 300 videos of 5 to 10 minutes in a detailed manner. And beauty of it, I'll tell you, we have built an AI-enabled, artificial intelligence-enabled, smart, personalized learning system. I'll talk about that. You get a lot of practice questions, sectional practice tests. We also give you full-length mock tests, and you get to sit with me and another trainer of our team to analyze your mocks after you perform. That's important, not just taking the mocks. Then we do doubt clearing sessions. Also, we have WhatsApp group where students act and discuss their doubts and all, and it's valid for 1 year. And we're giving a 40% off, so the price is only available at 3,000. You get the entire course for just 3,000 for 1 year course. You can practice, watch them as many times as you want. And if you're someone who likes to sit to live classes where our trainers will teach for 50 hours, so you will be getting through all of the classes, all the things that we are offering here. The self-paced is covered here, but on top of that, you'll sit 50 classes, 50 hours of classes. If you miss it, you can also watch the recording. You'll have the access to recording for 1 year also. The live classes, you can watch them again. And even this, we are giving a 40% off. We're giving at 6,000. Finally, we have mock tests also, a course only for mock tests and the practice sessions. There are 700 questions with some of them video solutions and full-length mock tests. You will be getting with feedback sessions, 30-minute feedback call with us, the trainers, experts. So you will be getting this at just 2,000 rupees. And again, here also you get a 40% off. You're getting at just 200 rupees. So these are the courses that we are offering. What I'll tell you is, as I said, this is a unique thing that we have built, which is very unique to us. Nowhere we have seen anyone doing it. So we have been training students. We have realized people struggle with what is 30 divided by 7. What is a reminder when 30 is divided by 7? People who struggle with 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. This is because of issues with their fundamental understanding. So we are starting from very basic levels and going step by step. But on the other side, you might be knowing very advanced stuff also in some topics. You don't need to waste your time. So what our system does, it skips things that you know and teach only what you don't know. You could be student 1 who knows 80% of concepts in a topic. It understands that by some quick evaluation, it teaches you only 20%. So you don't waste your time. Or you could be a student who only knows 20%. So it's better that we teach the remaining 80%. So we don't teach the same for everyone. Everyone gets a different learning in the self-paced course. It's an AI-enabled teaching that helps you to go through a path. So you optimize your preparation, focus on what you don't know and skip what you already know. So to understand this, I'll tell you there's a free trial that's there in our website which gives you 10 hours of experience of our entire course. Try it and you yourself will realize what I'm talking about, how efficient our AI would be in terms of helping you, guiding you on it. The content, the questions for practice, the analytics you get to analyze your weak areas, all of these things I think you can experience with the free trial part. So now let's move into this. What should I do in terms of preparation, right? So students ask me first of all, sir, what is a good attempt or how much time should I put? I don't put it in months, rather I put it in hours. 200 to 250 hours of effort, right, is a very good effort if you ask me to put, including mock tests, practice, everything from basics. How much time should I put it? You can do it in 1 month. If you want to study for what, 10 hours a day, you can do it in 1 month. If you want to do in 3 months, you can do it. If you want to do in 6 months, you do it. So there's no fixed time, but I'd say 2 to 3 months is a good enough time to do. But if you have more time, maybe you want to spread it out over 6 months, someone wants to do only in 1 month, it all depends on what's your goal and how much of a time you have. But rather than putting in days and weeks, I would put it more in hours. Quality 200 hours of time, you're doing a very good job, right, in terms of learning things and all. So when should I write it? Should it be in my first year, second year, third year? I'll tell you, you should write 1 year before you want to join a university. When I say that, let's say you want to join in 2022, August is what you're trying to say, you want to join in this, you should be writing your GRE by August 2021. Should have your score ready by this, because you understand the application for US universities close 9 months, 8 months before the admission cycle, admission date. So you should be ready with your score, then shortlist universities, prepare SOPs, LORs, get transcripts, then apply to universities. All of this takes time. Don't think I can write it just 1 month before, right? So it's better to write 1 year, and GR is valid for 5 years. So better it is to complete it, get rid of it if you're sure of going, so that you don't actually have to worry about it later. If you have it, this is the hardest part of the entire application process. So IELTS, TOEFL you can write in 2 months, one and a half month, and the application process you can do in one and a half month. But this one is one which you need to put more effort to get through. So that's something I'll tell you. The best time would be to writing second or third year holidays. If you're an engineering student, I'm talking about after 2 or 3 I would put it to the best time, so that you have your score ready. And if you're not scoring well, you can reattempt or do something on that. Don't leave it too late. Right. So now coming to the preparation part, ETS is a company which conducts GRE. Okay. And they release books to help you prepare for it. So this is official guide which has around 300 questions. It's a must-do book. There are 2 free ETS mocks also. I'll talk about that a bit later. This plus this book is a bare minimum. If a student only has 10 hours, 20 hours, 25 hours, and I need to do minimum stuff to get through my exam and try it, then these are the two things you should do to practice before you take the actual exam. But if you ask me in a detailed manner, I'll tell you the preparation for any course or any content. I'll put it in 2 phases. First is skill building phase. Second is the practice phase. In skill building, you don't worry about the speed, you don't worry about the accuracy, you don't worry about the shortcuts, you don't worry about your scores and all. This is only to build your concepts. Speed is not important. Go slowly, but make sure you understand the concepts well. Make sure you understand things well. Don't try to jump through things. Right? So there's one good set of books that I can recommend if you want books. So GRE has something called strategy guides, Manhattan strategy guides. There are 8 books, 6 of them for quant and 2 of them for verbal. The best part about this, they teach from very basics like 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, x plus 2x and all of that. But the worst part is that each book is 200 pages and there are 6 books, so you have to spend 1200 pages only for quant, and that means you need to spend at least 100 hours to complete just these books. And these books will not complete your preparation. You should need to practice more and get advanced questions also, but this will help you to figure out your basics. So this is where we thought of this AI enabled system that we have built. We personally are big fans of these books in a way. But I'll tell you, the problem is that you might know certain things, you might not know certain things. You yourself do not know what you know and what you don't know. That is where our AI-enabled system will check your ability at every point, skip things that you know, teach what you don't know, and carve your own learning path. So that's what the technology is helping us to work on it. This is another book, old book for GRE, but the only thing I like about this for the skill building is that it has 10 to 15 pages. You'll find summary for concepts wise, formulas, basic terms and all. So what is the advantage with this? If you're already good with it, you just want to quickly refresh and solve some questions so that you work on and remind those things, right? This could be a quick way to do it, because this is a very big long book. So this is something you can look at. Once you got your basics sorted, you have practiced some basic questions and you figured out, then comes the practice phase. Here you have to worry about speed, accuracy, what my shortcut, what concepts am I not good at, what should I go back and learn again, and all of that. So here I will tell you, this again, ETS has a couple of other books, official GRE quantitative reasoning practice questions. So you can definitely try this book. It has 150 questions as it clearly is written. Just give me a minute. Right, so then you have Manhattan 5LB is another famous book. It has around 800 questions, right, for quant alone. It's a good thing to practice. You can definitely try to do this, which is going to help you out with your basic concepts and all. I mean to say, for practice phase, a very good set of questions that these guys carry. So you can definitely try to do it and get a practice from it, right? So yep, this is what another book you can look at. Then comes your verbal part. I'll tell you the verbal is basically mix of two skill sets. I said reading and vocabulary, right? So you need to read this material, and words you need to look at word for improving vocabulary. I'll tell you, this is a very good book, Word Power Made Easy. You can definitely try this out if you're interested. But other side of it is that people find it too long to read because it takes you like 40 hours at least to work on this book. But it's a great book to change your entire vocabulary range, not just for GRE, for your entire improvement, entire your performance and all, right? But people are not really willing to put that effort. The other option I tell you is to do the word list, right? You have Magoosh app. It's a free app you can download in your Android or Play Store, like Android Play Store or the Apple Store of iOS. Then you have Baron's word list, you have Prep Scholar 357 words, and Power Scholar 700 words. So I personally recommend these three. Combine these three, you will get around 1500 words that you need to work upon closely, because words will repeat, right? The similar style of words you'll see. So then you can definitely try to learn those words so that you have a better chance at the words you see in the GRE. Definitely, it's not that there's a syllabus that you'll get the C's words only, but these are common words, so there's a good chance you'll come across this. That's how the logic works. Then you should improve your reading skills, right? You should start reading material like New York Times, Economist. These are recommended by the GRE people itself, the company itself. Then there's something else called Arts and Letters Daily. This is a website I recommend, but it has good curation, or rather culmination of all other website articles and all. So it's a good place to read. Again, verbal skill building is more to do with your fundamental reading and vocabulary skills. Just try to work on this more. Then you have a couple of other things like reading comprehension, text completion, all of that to practice. There are tips and tricks that helps you to learn, get some ways of eliminating options. How do you read? How do you skim faster? How do you eliminate options and all? Which is what these books can help you. Even our course has that something on the. We also built our tips and tricks, so you can work on them. So this is one part of it. But I'll tell you, when you talk about skill building, 70% of your skill building in verbal should be about spending time on reading diverse material and learning words. Because if you don't know this, doesn't matter how many questions you do, how many videos you watch, how many books you do, how many tests you take, you will not improve and score well in the actual exam. You should improve your fundamental skills. Then comes your practice. Start practicing. ETS has another book called Verbal Reasoning Practice Questions. You can work on it. Manhattan has FileB book, but I'm not a big fan of it. But if you really insist, there are RCs which are good in it, you can take it. But otherwise, official guide of ETS and this book is good enough for you to practice. Focus more on reading diverse material, learning more words, and improving your vocabulary and all. That itself takes you a lot of time. You don't have to practice more than that. Mocks, and then this will be a good enough set for you to practice. Then the mock test, I'll tell you, you should take at least 4 to 5 mocks. That's what my strong recommendation is. Because as I said, 4 hours of exam, you need to endure it. 2 ETS mocks are available for free. Don't abuse them initially. Keep them for the last 1 month, last 3 weeks of your actual exam. So that you actually test and experience the actual test, see where you're struggling. Because this is the closest you can get to the actual GRE test. No one else can replicate as good as these guys. Right. Right, so this is basically what you are basically doing. So then you have Manhattan Prep, Kaplan and Princeton Review. So these are few other companies which are giving couple of one free mock which you can try. Okay, so that is also something that you can definitely look at. They are paid also. You can pay ETS mocks, you can also pay Manhattan, but I'll tell you, you have a couple of free itself that is solving your problem 4 marks. It's about writing them and analyzing them. It's not only about writing it, you should also make sure that you analyze after writing, where did I go wrong? How can I improve it? That's when you will work and improve on it. Don't just write the mock and leave it. You should actually work on it further and analyze it to improve your performance on it. Right. Then the AVA section, as I was talking about, is not really that of a worry if you ask me frankly. I'll answer your question. Just wait for that. So our part, as I was talking about, in the official guide and the Manhattan strategy guides, you would get few chapters, a few pages dedicated to it. They talk about sample questions, they talk about sample answers, there are few tips, that's it. So that's good enough for you. If you have worked on basic writing skills using TOEFL or IELTS, or if you have basic English skills, you can do well with it. Other than that, you don't need to really worry about it a lot, because you don't have to get a very great score, because that's fine. As long as you get anything about 3.54 etc., you're doing good. More than 3, it's great. 3.54 and all, right? So these will help you with some 30-40 pages of how you need to write, what are the samples and all, and you can work on it. Otherwise, in our course, we do have a video for that also. So now comes this point. People ask us, sir, I'll tell you how much can I get, how much should I prepare and all of that. I'll tell you anywhere the growth, always I tell you in this way. Two things you need to understand. What is your current ability, right? And what is your desired score? And then you should also carve a path based on this thing. So if you are at a 300 level right now, and if your desired score is 305, you don't have to really struggle a lot to do this. It's very easy to do a few things and you do it. But if you are at a 280 and you're trying to get 300 plus, then there is a considerable journey you have to undergo. If you're looking at 320, 315 also, it's a large journey you have to do. So you have to realize what's your current ability. That is where we are helping you with a free diagnostic course that's there in our website. It's a free course. You can go to our store and you find it. It's a 1 hour test that we have given, half the actual GRE test, and it gives you what's your current ability. That is, if you take GRE right now, you'll be getting 290, 295, 300. And then we also give you a customized preparation plan. That is, you're weak with verbal, you're weak with this, work on this, do this, and all of that. So this is all given for free by us in the course. You can just register and enroll and get to see. Right, and depending on how much of an improvement you want and where you stand, your effort should go. I would put, if you put a 200 hours of effort, ideally I would expect you to improve 10 to 20 points. Right, if you're at a 280, you should be looking at 295, 300. If you're at a 300, you can look at 310, 315. So that's a change you will see if you are putting a proper 200 hours of effort. That is assuming you have not put effort earlier. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of your current ability and the growth. So there's a free diagnostic course that we're giving. If you want to assess where you stand right now and what's your ability, the best part is not to waste by writing this mock test. Don't waste this. Use our thing which is for free. Just take it, look at your assessment, understand, and then you can decide on how to take it forward for your own preparation. So we do have a free demo class we are doing to show you how we teach. That's tomorrow, 15 March at 7 to 8 p.m. If you're interested, I'll be taking the demo. You can attend it if you want to see how we teach, how we go about it. We talk about both our self-paced and live classes, right? How we teach, we'll show you free trial and all. So you can obviously, and you can clear your questions on GR if you have anything as well. So we'll get the message on it. If you're interested, you can attend that. So I already talked about this, the self-paced and the live training course. The only thing I want to talk about is this, that try our free trial. If you're interested to look at a GRE course, you yourself will realize what we're offering, how we are good, how we are different, and how we are worth what you're paying. I can definitely challenge the price that we're offering at and the content that we're giving. No one can match it. If you have any other, we give an open challenge to students that you can show us and we are going to match it. No questions asked. If you're giving the content that we are giving, the number of questions, the videos and the practice sessions and all of that, with the price that we're offering, if someone is matching, we are more than happy. We don't even want to discuss on the quality. We believe on the quality. I know no one is doing something of this level, AI enabled learning, personalized, but still, if anyone, we are more than happy to match that, because that's the confidence that we carry about this. So you can try the free trial. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer it. There was one question which I didn't answer, so I'll come to that. So if you are interested, do follow us, visit our website for a lot of free content. A lot of videos will be released in our YouTube channel going forward for more of GRE, IELTS, study abroad and all. So do follow us and encourage us. We will be helping you out with a lot more content. So that's it from my side. Now the session is open for questions. Pujita, you said first paper is math hard and next paper is English. So first paper, so understand this, there's no fixed order. So you'll be getting math, verbal, or it could be math, verbal, or it could be verbal, math. It can be any mix, okay? Math 1, math 2. There will be 2 sections of math and there will be 2 sections of verbal. The sequence is not fixed. But math 1 and verbal 1 will always be medium for everyone. Difficulty will be medium difficulty. Based on how well you have done in the first section of math, the second section of math will be hard, medium or easy. Based on how well you have done in the first section of verbal, the second of verbal will be medium or hard. Okay, that's, I hope I've answered it. The fees for GRE is $205, the official thing. It will be around like 15,000 is what I can put it, slightly more than 15 right now, but more or less that's what they'll put in dollars only, so that comes around 15K. What can we do to build a resume? Krishna, I'll tell you, it's, if you have time, don't underestimate the power of CGPA. Work on that. Definitely try to do some research projects, try to reach out to your professors and try to see if you can help them with some projects so that you can get some publications done or maybe some recommendations done later and all of that. Then what else we have? Then work on internships, work experience wise in the area of your interest. Then definitely prepare on the exams for GRE, IELTS and all, score well. That's it. These are the things that you can do to improve your CV. Projects, internships, it matters a lot. If you can get into a good research organization for internship and you're doing good project and you're learning a lot from it, it helps you. not just on paper. I'm talking about the real experience that you get. It helps you not just for paper sake, but also the thing. But it helps you in both ways. Higher CGP also would do good. Okay, Pooja. So you've already done MSc. So you're trying to apply for PhD. Is that what you're looking at? Yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem. If you have done MSc, it's not a problem to do MSc again. You don't call MSc over there, but masters. So that's not a problem. A lot of people do it. A lot of people do masters in multiple universities in the same country or different countries multiple times of life. So that's never a problem for universities. Actually, it could be a bonus for you if you actually give them a convincing answer of why you want to do it. Right? That is like you're so interested to do it that you are applying even though you've already completed it. So that's actually a good bonus also if you give a convincing. And if you have good things to talk about your MSc already, your research projects and all, it can boost your profile a bit more. So it's more like a positive if at all other than a negative thing. So don't worry on that. You can indeed apply for your MSc. Especially because when you say MSc, I'm assuming obviously you would have done BSc. If you're talking about US requires 16 years education to apply for a lot of universities. If you go with BSc alone, you would not have completed 16 years. You would have done only 15 years because 3 years undergrad. With MSc, you have crossed 16 years, so now you're eligible to apply for all the universities. So you will have a lot of opportunities open for the universities across the world. So all the way, it's better thing you have done it. That it will not harm you, it will only help you out in your applications. Germany, Krishna, I'll put you 8. At least 80% is what I will put as a good. At least. If you're closer to 9, it's great to have. But I will put 8 as at least the minimum thing. Any more questions? I would say Venkatesh, GRE has a better importance than IELTS. You need both, definitely. IELTS is a mandatory thing. But definitely GRE has a better importance. So you should take both if you ask me. So if you put in percentage, I'll tell you GRE will give you 5-10% of increase in your profile if you have a good score. IELTS can do 5%. So GRE I would put 10 and IELTS as 5 if I put numbers, right? Right. Any more questions? Yeah, before I end. So I'll just wait for another 30-40 seconds. Then there'll be a lag that will be there. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us later. Also, we have a demo class. If you're interested, you can attend it and you can ask me. There will be more personal conversation that we'll have in the session. Or you can also reach out to our team if you have any queries about your application, about any doubts you have. We'll definitely help you out with that. Right. Thanks a lot for joining the session. Aman, there's no limit to the number of attempts you can give. 5 attempts in a year is the limit, and if you can attempt today, you have to wait for 21 days for GRE to give a second attempt. But otherwise, there's no limit to the number of attempts you need to give. Lifetime attempts, there's no limit. Venkatesh, some universities would be looking at it, but they would say they don't need it, but you can always prove your profile with a good GRE score. So if you already have taken it, or if you want to take it for other universities, like let's say you've taken for US or German purpose, you have a good score, there's no harm in applying for it. Right, universities, Canadian universities especially, are slowly getting into that zone of accepting or asking for GRE scores, because see, it all comes down to this point. Once they get more and more applications, they want to remove the applications by putting up some constraints. So they would put GRE as a requirement. So I'm starting to see the trend in the last 1.5 year from Canadian universities. So you might get a benefit if you show your score. If it's a good score, it helps your profile. You can definitely add it, but is that requirement? No. So it's, if you're only looking at Australian university, Canadian universities, maybe you can skip that and rather focus on other things to build your profile, get a good IELTS score and try to build other profile elements, and try to focus more on other things. Energy can be best invested in other things. right? Thanks, guys. I hope it was a useful session for you guys. There was some issue with my internet. I think there was a couple of glitches. Sorry for that. If you're interested, take the diagnostic course. Do attend our demo class. You'll get update on that. You can experience a free trial if you're interested. Do let us know if you have any queries, if you have any concerns on any of this. I will be happy to help you out. So all the best. Thanks a lot for joining us, and goodbye. So Arib, you will be getting the link to join the demo. Don't worry. You'll be getting a message like how you got a message for today's webinar. You'll also get a link for the tomorrow's demo, and you can attend it. It'll be on a Google Meet. But you'll be getting a link to join the session. Don't worry on that. Thanks a lot, guys. See you. All the best.